Welcome. Welcome to Yoga Within in our house. My name is Pat and I will be bringing you a chair yoga class today. If you have not done chair yoga before, the position that you sit in is a choice. As you can see, I hope, I'm sitting forward in my chair, comfortably on the edge of my chair, and it engages my core and I'm sitting up straight. If that becomes tiring or is not available to you today, you can do all of what we do sitting back, supported by the back of your chair. When you're in this position, do try to sit up straight. We like to think of our shoulders above our hips and sitting tall, stretching our spine. Please remember that this is your practice, very, very important. If anything that I suggest you do does not feel good with your body, you are the one who decides whether you do it or not. I will offer options, but through the class, remember this time is your time and it is for you. So please take good care and I hope you will find the class enjoyable. This is my first time taping like this, so there may be glitches, but we'll do it together. So we'll enjoy. Settle back for a little time of centering. If you wish, close your eyes and take a long, slow, deep breath in. Just a gentle, long breath in and a long, slower breath out. And do that for 3 more breaths, just gently. And imagine that on each breath out, you just release or relax a little, finding a comfortable place in your chair. Notice your body, starting with your feet. Feel your feet on the floor. Just notice. When we scan our body, no judgment, no wishing something was different, just becoming aware of our body, just aware, and how it is just perfect in this moment. So follow up through your legs, your knees, moving up to your hips. Be aware of your hips. How the weight is it evenly on both hips? And if it's not, that's fine too. Up through your lower back, your shoulders, your neck, your head resting on your shoulders. You may have your eyes closed. And then just notice your breath. Is it shallow? Perhaps deeper? Smooth, maybe a little tight. It's just getting to know yourself better. Slowly bring your awareness back into your room. Open your eyes if you like. And take a big breath in, and a big sigh out. Just a letting go sigh. And do it again, a big breath in. And a big breath out. Big breath out. Stretch out. Might be able to stretch your legs out. Just stretch as big as you can, whatever is available to you today. And then curl up really, really small as you can. You may be able to get your chest down on your abdomen, just as small as you can. And I apologize if my dog barks. I think he's wondering who I'm talking to. We'll give a little kindness, loving kindness to our neck first. So just drop your chin, the front here, and notice how it's feeling in the back of your neck. We hold a lot of tension in our neck and shoulders, and it's good. This is something you can do every day, just when you're sitting quietly or even watching TV. Just remember to be gentle. Lift it up. Look up towards the ceiling, but don't worry, we're just warming up our bodies. Don't worry about going too far back. And again, as if we're saying a slow yes. Bring your chin down again towards your collarbones and look up, look up, look up. And as you look up this time, you may want to look up towards your eyebrows with your eyes so that you exercise your eyes as well. And bring your neck down so you tuck your chin again. Keep your chin here. And now we're going to draw a smile across our collarbones right here. So go to your right, just as if you're dragging your chin along towards your right shoulder. Bring it back down and across to your left shoulder. This is not fast movement. Just go back and forth. And again, as always in yoga, just notice how it feels in your body. And only go as far as is good for you today. One more to your left. Now when you come to your right, you may be able to just look up and make a big circle with your head. So again, then I have my chin on my clavicle on my left side, across to the right. And then I'm making a circle as if I'm painting a circle, perhaps with my nose on the far wall. And do that 2 more times, just slowly. If you hear a little bit of kind of soft noise or clicking and it does not hurt, then don't worry. It's just the tendons and muscles rolling. And they become quite tight. So this is a nice way to loosen them up. Now let's go the other way. Turn your head the other way. Go across your clavicle to your shoulder, up. Again, look up with your eyes if you like. Come down. And up again. Around. And one more time. At the best of times, I'm not good about doing it equally both sides. Excuse me, that's always my goal. But I do forget to count. So hopefully we'll be fairly equal on both sides at the end of the yoga practice. Now just tilt your head to your right, towards your right shoulder. If you like, your left arm you can put on your left shoulder and just draw it down gently and you'll get a little bit more stretch on that side. Now it's thinking ears to shoulder, no turning of your head. And this is a very small movement, just stretching out our neck a bit and come up. And do the same towards your left side. Again, keeping your head upright, don't bend it forward. And if you like, put your hand on your shoulder as you drop your head to your left. Very good, good. Let's do it one more time each side. Just a nice stretch. And come up. And a nice stretch to your left. And again, I encourage you to do this at different times during the day, just gently. And it does over time increase our movement in our neck. We really need it for shoulder checking when we're driving the car, so it's an important movement. Plus, it loosens the muscles. Okay, move now to the front of your chair if that feels comfortable for you. And we'll focus on our feet a little bit. So just lift your toes up off your mat. I'm aware that you might not be seeing my toes. There, that's better. Just lift your toes up and then lay them down, spread out wide on your mat. Just lift them again and spread them out. And now tap. tap both your feet. Get a little movement going on in your ankles there. You can tap your feet as you move your feet to the outside and to the center. Good, good. Now stretch out your right leg. Again, see that you're safely, comfortably sitting on the front of your chair. And stretch your toe to the front of your mat. So you're stretching, stretching, stretching your foot out like that on your mat. Now bring it up towards your nose. So you're drawing your toes to your nose as you're sitting nice and tall, shoulders above your hips. And do that 5 times. Back and forth and back and forth. Excellent, excellent. Now make circles with your ankles. If you can, lift your leg and see how that feels to do the circles in one direction with your leg lifted. And if not, keep your heel on the floor and you can still make circles with your foot and go the other direction. Good, good. Good, and let's do the same with the other foot. I'm going to move back just a tiny bit again. Extend your left foot. Stretch out your foot to the front of your mat so your toes are pointing forward. Draw your toes to your nose. And just keep doing that forward and towards your nose. Front of your mat. And do 2 more of those. Keeping your leg nice and straight and keeping your leg in line with your hips, just this part of your hip. So if you've got your leg out here or your leg out here, just see if you can have it lined up nicely with this part of your hip. Good. And now make circles in one direction with your foot as big as you can, as if you're drawing this time with your big toe. And the other way. Very good. I've lifted my heel up off the mat, so I engage my leg more. You choose what works best for you today. Excellent. Now, let's go back to your right foot. Just tuck the top of your right foot behind you, under the seat of your chair, and put gentle pressure on the top of your foot. We're just stretching out the top part of our foot. So you can play with this a little and see what position is comfortable for your foot. You may find this is really quite tight. We don't do this type of stretch very often. So if it's tight, just be kind, but it is a good stretch to do. And release that. And then the other one, the left foot. Just stretch it back and put some nice pressure on. You may notice as well that as you do this, you're engaging your quads here. You're using your leg to put that pressure on. And we're just wanting our body to warm up and to move. Excellent. Okay, a little bounce out with your legs if you like. And come back. Take your hands and place them on the outside of your thighs, and pressing your hands against your thighs and your thighs against your hands, just push, 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 push. And notice where you feel this in your body. Try to hold this for a few breaths, maybe as long as I'm talking. So you're pushing. You'll feel your core engage a little, your arms, your shoulders, you may feel your back working here, and release. Let's do that 2 more times. So again, push, 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 push harder, push harder, push harder. Think of how strong your arms are, how strong your legs are. Good, good, and release. And 1 more time. Push harder, 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 harder. Push harder and release. We can do the same thing on the inside of our legs. We can put our hands, the back of our hands, the inside of our legs, and press, 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 press against each other. This is kind of what they call an isotonic pressing, engaging the muscles. Keep pressing, pressing. Of course, you can always stop if I hold it for too long, and release. And let's do that. I'm talking to distract you, of course, so that you don't notice how hard you might be working. So press, 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 press. Good, good. Shoulders down, shoulders down. Sitting tall, even though you're at the front of the chair. Release. Take a breath. And one more time. This time, give it your all. Press, press, press. And press. That's it, that's it. And release. Just going to move my chair back a little bit again because I'm kind of worried that you're not seeing my feet. There, I hope that's better. I apologize if you haven't been able to see them. Excellent. Take your legs out, your feet out rather, to the sides of your mat. Now for this, I need to come quite far forward. If you're sitting back in your chair at this point, this will be limited movement. But just tip your right knee down in towards the center. Working with the hip a little bit here. And do the same with your left knee. If you lift off your left cheekbone a little bit, that's okay. So you can do a little bit of kind of rocking back and forth. Working with the hips here. That's it. Both sides. Good. Good. And one more each side. 1, 2. Very good, very good. For many of us, that's fairly limited movement, but again, it's really good for the hips. Now just rock your legs together. You can play with this again. Put your feet together if you like, and rock them right to left, side to side, and then take them a little bit farther apart. Do the same thing. We call this windshield wiper legs. Just getting movement, nice movement going in the hips. Really good, really good. And bounce that out. Now, if you can stay forward in your chair, we're going to do a gentle twist. If at this point you might like to sit back, that's good too. I'll do it from back here. And I'm just going to put my hand on the outside of my leg here. And with your right hand, you can put it on the back of your chair, or I sometimes like to just rest it in the small of my back where I have the natural curve. And just do a very gentle twist to your right. Don't worry about turning your head. More think of this twist coming from your lower abdomen, your lower back. Again, this is our first twist that we've done, so we don't want to be too enthusiastic. Let's do it to the other side. So find where you want to put your left hand, the side of the chair or the middle of your back, and with your right hand just on the outside of your thigh. Sit up nice and tall and turn to your left. And when you're in that position, just breathe. Breath is really important in yoga. At this point, just notice that you're breathing. Please don't stop breathing. We in time coordinate our breathing often with what it is, the movement that we're doing, but I'm not worrying about that at all now. It's really important that you just breathe. We all have a tendency to hold our breath. Good. Let's do a little bit of attention here to our shoulders. So we'll start on your right side. Put your right hand on your right shoulder and just start small circles. Small circles like that. That's it. You can make them bigger and bigger. And again, just notice what it's feeling like. I often hear some gentle click, click, clicking when I do shoulder work, and it's very common. That's it. Very good. And now let's go the other way. That's it. Good, good. Again, see that your shoulders aren't up in your ears. That makes everything so much harder. I forget what way I was going now, so I think I was going this way. I'm easily distracted. Good. And the other side. Go forward first with your left elbow. You can start with small circles. And whatever your circles look like today, that's perfect, perfect. Good. Round and up. And then the other way too. Go towards the back. You got your core engaged, so it's helping you sit up nice and straight. Knees about hip width apart, your feet are flat on the floor. Really good. Okay. Good. We'll do one last little routine with our arms. Start with your hands in what we call prayer position. It's just your hands together in front of the heart center. Just behind here is my heart. Interlace your fingers and stretch out, stretching your palms towards me. Take your arms up, and at some point you may reach where your arms don't go any farther. Wherever that is, that's good. Just let your arms separate. Stretch out with your fingers to the ceiling, then to the walls on either side of you, as if you're being pulled both ways and you're making your arms extra long. Come back towards the front, into prayer hands. Interlace your fingers in the opposite way and go out. Stretch up. Now for some of you, you may be able to stretch way up to the ceiling. Remember to keep your shoulders dropped. Stretch out. Fingers to the ceiling, stretch out, and come together again. This time, the comfortable way of interlacing your fingers. Stretch out, up to what feels good for you. Stretch out, fingers up, stretch fingers out straight, and come together. And at each time you do this, change the interlacing of your fingers. And we'll do one more. Stretch out, shoulders down, and feel your shoulders widen across your back, up and out. Excellent. Now, take your feet out a bit towards the edge of your mat. You may want to look down at your feet and see if you can place the edge of your feet parallel to the edge of your mat. You'll feel a little bit pigeon-toed. That kind of helps with alignment of the bones into the hip joint. We are going to do just a real simple ragdoll fold. So this is one where we don't worry about our back being straight. We think of a ragdoll. So a ragdoll's pretty fluid and moves easily. Just curl up, let your back curve and curl up. You might like to put your elbows on your knees. And be careful if you feel dizzy when you're doing this, come up a little bit. Don't go to where you're feeling dizzy, and just come down. Gently, continue to breathe. And you may be able to put your hands on your thighs and become almost parallel with your upper legs, your thighs. And just take some slow breaths here. Forward folds are very calming. Look down at the floor, at your mat. Not looking up at me, it's easier on your neck. And on your next inhale, use your inhale to help lift you up. Good, good. And do a nice roll of your shoulders. We're going to come to standing. We can use our chair in a standing position as well and use the back of it to help us with balance. So stand up, and I am going to turn my chair like this so you can see what it is that I'm doing. In practicing this, I have to tell you, I had to work with getting my feet in without cutting my head off, or vice versa. So hopefully you can see all of me. So I can hold my chair with two hands, with one hand. I can just use my fingers if I feel uncomfortable with that, or I can just have it there knowing that it's there if I need the support. So you make a choice about that. And we'll just start by going up on your toes on your right foot. Up as far as you can on your toes, and while you're in that position, roll across the pads of your toes from side to side. Back and forth, and back and forth. Go down with your heel, back up on your toes, and do that roll again. That's it. Very good. And now let's do the same in the other foot. Come up, 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 really high on your toes so you feel your toes are really bending. And press down and then roll from side to side. That's it. Very good. Stand nice and tall. See if you've got that nice curve in your back. While you're rolling your feet, I'll just go over a few things that help us to stand strongly. Your shoulders above your hips, your chin a little bit tucked so that many of us have a tendency to hold our chin up and back. Good. Put your foot down again and then bring it back up and roll again. Now see how you do as you look down at your feet. See that your ankles are directly, I'll stand forward. I'm looking at my middle of my feet, my ankles are again lined up with my hips in about that position. I want the outsides of my feet, if I can, to be relatively parallel to the outside of my mat or parallel to each other. So standing tall like that, nice little curve, natural curve in my back. Take the chair and go up on both toes, up tall and down. And do 10 of these relatively quickly, just to strengthen our feet, our arches, and our toes, back and forth. You can rock back a little bit when you go down if you like, up like that, and down, up and down, and up and down. I think that's about 10 again. I forget to count. Now, if you would like a little bit more of a challenge, you can lift your left foot and tuck it behind your ankle and try going up on one foot on the toe. Maybe just try 5 of those. And if that is not good for you today, just do a few more of going up on your toes and back on your heels with both feet on your mat. And the other foot. Tuck your right foot. Whoops, there, be careful. I didn't have my balance quite right. 3, yeah. Good. 4 and 5. Very good. Very good. Now, again, face me and be aligned so you have room in front of you. So if you're in a position with your chair as I am, so one hip is facing the back of your chair, take your right foot and hold it out in front and back. Now think of the weight being even on your left foot, and this is where you may want to try a little bit of balance. Maybe just hang onto the chair with a finger or with a thumb and your first finger, your pointer finger, going back and forth. If this is going really well, you can extend out to your right, back and forward. Again, shoulders dropped, core engaged. Just practicing a little bit with your balance here. Oh, I forgot to go out to the side. No harm. Now I'm going to the side, the opposite direction. Good, really good. And put that foot down. Now for you, I'm going to just put my chair to the other side like that. So you can see we have two legs. We always want to be balanced, so we'll do the same on the other side. So come forward, just do the forward and back, forward and back. And if you find this very easy, you can try to do it with your hands on your hips. That will engage your balance. If you shake a little bit, it's good. It's just your muscles working to hold you in the position. Then you can come forward, out to the side, and back. Forward, out to the side, and back. Again, to the side, and back, and forward, out to the side, and back. Excellent. Just kind of walk it out a bit. Now come facing your chair and step back until, oh, I think I'll tuck this in, until you feel that if you can, that your head is between your upper arms or as far down as you can go. And you may need to bend your knees a little bit. Here, this is just a nice forward fold, keeping the natural curve of our back. As opposed to the ragdoll forward fold that we did sitting down where we go loose, this, we're keeping the nice curve in our back and stretching our back out. So just do that one more time. Just a nice gentle stretch. You can step back a bit. Again, bend your knees slightly. Don't have to keep them straight. And take 2 more breaths here. And then come up and sit back down on your chair. I'll get better at this, knowing where my feet show and my head shows. It's really nice to be with you. I'm so happy we're able to do this in these very strange times. It's just a nice way to keep connection and a nice way to move our bodies. Sit any way that you like in your chair. Just going to do one last thing, a little bit of movement, just doing circles around like this. If you're sitting at the back of the chair, it does limit your circles towards the back. So experiment. Try it different ways and what works best for you. Just to do nice movement like that. And then the other way, back the other way. Good. Now you might inhale as you go back and exhale as you go forward and compress your stomach. Inhale, that's what I was talking about earlier, where sometimes we do breath to movement. Becomes quite intuitive after a while. Good. Good. Now just take a minute here. We are going to move into Shavasana, which is a quiet time at the end of our practice to integrate our practice. But just take a moment to see if there's any movement that you feel your body might like. And you choose. It's a good way to kind of notice what your body is telling you. Right now, I just feel a little tightness in my lower back. So I'm just going to do a nice gentle forward fold and stretch that out. But for you it might be a stretch of the arms or maybe a little tiny rotation of the neck. Whatever works. And then settle yourself back to the back of your chair. Feet flat on the floor. See that you're nice and comfortable. That's it. And here, take a nice, long, slow breath in. And a longer, slower breath out. And again. Notice if you're comfortable. Your shoulders dropped. Does your body feel at ease? You may want to close your eyes. Drop your chin a little. This is a time when we have appreciation for ourselves, for spending time with ourselves in our yoga practice. Gratitude for ourselves. Notice how your body is feeling. What sensations you might be noticing. Maybe ease. Maybe with each breath in, as you breathe out, you can create a little bit more ease by letting go a little bit. Notice how well supported you are by the floor and by the chair. The ground is always underneath us to hold us. Inhale, peace. Exhale, release. Slowly bring your awareness back into the room. Maybe take a gentle breath in and out. A deep breath in and out. Open your eyes. And in your own time, if you like, bring your hands to heart center. We end our classes with the word namaste and a bow to each other. And namaste means many, many different things. But I think of it as the light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. And thank you for sharing your practice with me today. Please take good care of you, and good care of your environment and those you love. These are challenging times, and hold steady. Thank you.